All right, we're back with part two, Smoking Cigars with Howlinblind, Muddy Slim. Part two, and probably the final segment. This is Smoking Cigars with Howlinblind, Muddy Slim, the Haiti, Pat Robertson, and President Obama's State of the Union address. Now, we've already talked about Haiti, and we've already talked about Pat Robertson in part one. Now, about President Obama's State of the Union address. It was a very, very nice speech. It wasn't filled with a bunch of, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Key things like, he actually gave a great speech, folks. I've got to say that I agree with very much of what President Obama said. I just don't believe him. What does he expect the American people to do? Does he expect the American people to say to him, Mr. Obama, I agree 100% with your speech, and now I love you so much because I know you're going to save the country? It sounded good, but once a liar, always a liar. Go back and watch my video on liars. How can we sit here as Americans, as responsible adult human beings, and say, well, you lied to me, but I'll believe you this time. Wait a minute, but you lied to me again, but I'll believe you this time. That's called denial, folks. President Obama laid out, even in his speech, things he claimed he was going to do, things he promised he was going to do in his first year of office, and hasn't done those things yet. But he thinks he did. And some of them he admitted, well, maybe I just didn't do them right. The transparency thing, the thing on health care, the debates, the bringing jobs back to this country. He's saying now in his second year, I want to bring jobs back to this country. You promised you'd bring them back in the first year. You didn't do a damn thing to bring back jobs to this country. Now, I could forgive him if he had made or had taken steps in the first year to get jobs back in this country and to get American people back to work, but he didn't. He says he's going to do it this year. He didn't do it last year. And he claims the economy is turning around. A 360-degree circle is not turning around. We're starting at zero and we're turning around back to zero. You can't have economic growth and economic recovery without jobs. Now, the money is here. He talks about how much he hated the bank bailouts, but he did it. He claims that if he hadn't done it, banks would have collapsed and the economy would have been much worse. I disagree with him. You got a bank and AIG. The only thing that was accomplished by bailing these companies out was they're still in business, but now the rich fat cats have got more money in their pockets and more people are out of their homes. Had what he done was to say, okay, I'm going to give them these bailouts, but here's what's going to happen. The people who are holding mortgages on people who can't afford to pay for their homes and their automobiles because they don't have jobs now or their incomes have been greatly slashed, those people are not going to lose their homes. They're not going to lose their automobiles. We're going to give them a year's of a grace period of a year. And then we're going to remortgage. Because he's talking about now working to help people refinance some of their mortgages to get themselves down to an affordable payment. Why didn't he do that last year? Why didn't he do that last year? We've got these people that are losing their homes, and the bank gets to keep them, and they get to resell them and keep all the money. So many things he claimed he was going to do last year, but he didn't do it. He's lying, and now he's going, give me another chance. I'll do it this year. He was going to start bringing the boys and the girls home from Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan last year. But he put in another 30,000 troops, and now he says by August, I think he said 31st of 2011, they'll be home. He wants to cut spending, but not until 2011. Come on. The government spending is what's caused all these problems, folks. The debt. And I'll say it again. Money does not trickle down like Ronald Reagan said. It trickles up from the people who are working, and it goes up. Those two bailouts, the one Bush did and the one that Obama did, had that money been dispersed amongst the American people who work and told, get yourselves out of debt, it would have been a whole lot less money that they would have used in the bailouts, and everything would be fine. The economy would be booming. And the American people wouldn't mind paying a little extra in income tax to pay it back. Because we would have felt like we got something out of the deal. Let me see how much time I got left. But we keep getting shit on by this administration, by this government, and we keep getting shit on by the IRS and the Federal Reserve Bank. We keep getting shit on by the oil companies. Tell me if this would not help things out just a tad. Let's let the government put a price freeze on the cost of gasoline that you pay at the pump for unleaded gasoline for a year at $2 a gallon. Let's put a cap on how much the energy cost can go up based on your size home. Because the bottom line is more money needs to be put in your pocket and my pocket, not these rich fucking fat cats, and because they're going to feel it too. But you need to empower the worker, the American people, the worker who works and slaves in this country to make the rich fat cats richer. The only thing that I heard Obama say that I really, really like, and I seriously doubt he's going to do this, but if he does, folks, take advantage of it. The deal on the school loans, if you go back to school, there's going to be the ability to get these government grants and these school loans, and if you promise when you get out to pay 10% of your salary towards your school loan, that after 20 years, that school loan will be forgiven, and after 10 years, it'll be forgiven if you go into public service. I'm all for that because there's nothing like education to get a better job and more money. So, but check into it and see if it's really what he's going to do. In closing, folks, don't believe the liar. Say to President Obama, as I'm saying now, oh yeah? Prove it. Do it. The biggest thing he wanted to get, he went hell-bent. He admits it in his State of the Union speech. He went hell-bent on health care reform. And the American people don't want it, and the American people can't afford it. We can't afford none of this bullshit. Put a cap on how much premiums an insurance company can charge. Do away with the pre-existing clause. How many more big mansions and Mercedes-Benzes and speedboats does the big fat cat CEOs need? No, I'm not for socialism. I'm not for taking away from one, giving to the other. But the American people are suffering. The middle class and people making below poverty level, we're suffering out here, folks. We're part of America too. Matter of fact, we're the bigger part of America. Smoking Cigars with Howlinblind, Money Slim on a Sunday, January 31st of 2010. Got my La Gloria Cubana Serie R number 7 Maduro. I'm going to light it up right after lunch. Y'all have a nice day. And remember, abolish the Fed. Shut down the IRS. Start printing United States notes at no interest. And this country will be better off. Talk to you later.